time, whether a horse is brand new and never had a hand laid on it, or whether it's an older horse that we're trying to do some kind of rehabilitation, we are going to get to know the horse the same way every time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull her off that wall. So she's kind of looking at me, so I'm going to back up, and I'm hoping that pulls her to me. She looks away. I'm going to create a little buzz. I'm going to pull her off that wall. There, she's thinking about maybe going away. All right. So I got her facing me. When she's lost interest in me, I'm going to push her away from me. So a horse figures out who is in charge based on which one of us can make the other one move their feet. So I'm in here and I'm pushing on her. What I'm watching is her feet. Like every time she jumps that barrel, she's on the wrong lead on her rear end. Now she's on the correct lead on her rear end. And then, well, she actually landed on the correct lead, but it was super squirrely. But her feet are going to tell me when her mind is clear. So if I just go and grab that horse and try to start making her do things that I want her to do right now, her mind is unclear and I'm going to have to battle with that. If I can push her around until her feet look flawless. See, right now those hind legs are completely on the wrong lead, which tells me that this horse is totally overwhelmed and she's just running scared. And that's just kind of how she's, that's how she's moving. Now she's on the correct lead. Landed on the wrong lead on the rear end. And I'm just going to keep pushing her until she can run on the correct lead. And that looked pretty good. And I'm going to drop my energy and she's supposed to stop and look at me. Good girl. And in her mind, she was scared to death right there. I'm a predator chasing her. She thinks I'm going to eat her. She's running scared. And her rear end was completely wrong on like what makes sense for a horse to efficiently move. And that's just telling me her mind is just all squeezed up. And now I'm going to push her off the other way. So every time you train a horse, you're training two. So this time I can only see her right eye. Only her right eye can see me. And we can't see the left eye, which is what we were talking to a few minutes ago. So we're dealing with a completely different horse. And if you'll notice, she's completely wrong on her rear end. She should be leading with that inside leg. This is telling me she's overwhelmed. And the little weird jump there is telling me she's overwhelmed. So I'm just pushing on her and I'm watching her feet. And when she can canter on the correct lead, and she can jump those barrels without it looking weird, and land on the correct lead, I'll stop chasing her. But there again, she's wrong. She's still wrong. But a horse can't hide what their mind is telling you if you're watching their feet. And look how awkward that was. That tells you she just got totally caught off guard by the barrels that she's jumped 16 times. That was a little over jumping. Now she's on the correct, well, now she's off. And I'm going to keep pushing her until her feet look like they should. When her feet look right, her mind is right. Now, she landed on the correct lead there, but she left on the wrong lead. Now she's wrong, still wrong. But a horse can't hide their feet. Like their emotions are going to come right out through them. There. Once she jumped correctly on the right lead, now she's not seeing me yet. There we go. Good girl. But until she can run around here with me pushing on her, on the correct lead, handling an obstacle, there's nothing else I can really effectively teach her without me kind of like fighting with her. This is getting her to a point where she's willing to like accept me as some leadership in her life. But if her feet are wrong, her mind is wrong. And so now we're going to see if she'll kind of latch on to me. I'm going to walk some arches around her. And I want to see that her nose comes with me and her rear end goes away from me. So her nose is coming in. Her butt should be going away. Her nose is not coming in, so I'm going to have to press her, bring her nose to me. So what I'm teaching her right now is you watch me or I'm going to get after you. So I want the nose coming in, rear end going away there. kind of losing her train of thought and wandering off. So I press her when that happens. Here, I'm going to catch her eye, and then I'm going to walk away. She doesn't get to wander around and ignore me. If I start walking around here and her nose doesn't come with me, I'm going to say, hey, I'm over here. You better watch me. I'm over here. But I want her nose coming with me and her butt going away. And every time I lose her nose, I'm going to shake that stick or make some kind of commotion. Good girl. And then we're going to switch sides. And I'm not going to give her the opportunity to ignore me. See here, now on this side, her nose is coming with me and her butt's going away, just like I said it should. And this is the whole 2 horses in every one thing. Now we're going to go over here and see if this horse will follow me. It's starting to look better. But the nose has to come with me and the butt has to go away. Anything other than that is disrespect. I want the nose following me, the butt going away. Good girl. But she's struggling a little bit on this left side. But on her right side, she's doing her, well, excuse me, I said that backwards. Her left side is doing good, and her right side is the one that's struggling. But this was what they're supposed to do. When I have her focus, her nose is going to come with me, and her butt's going to go away. Anything other than that is either confusion or disobedience or what have you. But when they're doing what they're supposed to, their nose will always come to you, and their rear end will go away. So before I get to here, I have no reason to go get a rope to try to restrain my horse. This horse is way stronger than I will ever be, so this rope does not make it possible that I can make her do things. If she wants to drag me around and get away from me, she absolutely can. Good girl. But she's already shown me that she has the willingness and the ability to follow me with her nose and her butt going away from me without even having a rope on her. So now the rope does not become a restraint. It just becomes another tool I'm going to use. But I'm not making her stay with me because I got a rope on her. She's already chosen that it was like running away from me was a lot of work, but kind of standing quiet with me was a little bit easier. And I really haven't given her much of a break yet, so maybe we'll just kind of just stand here for a second and let her catch her breath. And if she's dropping her head a little bit, that's a good sign. Licking and chewing would also be a good sign. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let her know I want her to go to the left by indicating with my hand. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put pressure on her, we're going left. So my stick is just adding pressure. My hand is what's suggesting the direction. And she's got a little spring in her step there that I'm not asking for, which tells me she's mildly overwhelmed. And then I'm going to bring my stick underneath, switch directions. And what I'm looking for is that she can walk and follow directions. And she's kind of getting it. Our turn was a little bit abrupt. So if her feet are going faster than I want her to, that's telling me that she is either frustrated, frightened, or confused. So I'm going to soften my breathing. I'm going to let her know that we're not asking her to go in a big hurry. But I want to see that she can handle direction changes. She's communicating with me or I'm communicating with her and it's not overwhelming her. I want to see that she can walk. When your horse can walk and follow directions, it's their way of saying that not only do they understand what you need them to do, but they're comfortable with what you need them to do. Because a horse can for sure know what you want them to do and be very uncomfortable with it, and then they're going to turn into happy feet. So the next time I change her directions, I'm going to actually put pressure on her and tell her to go fast. So I want to bring her alive a little bit. So I'm actually pushing on her now just a little. She don't got to run crazy fast, but I do want to see that I'm bringing her to life a little. Going to switch her directions. And there are people that'll say, oh, yeah, okay, you're just lunging her. I am absolutely not lunging her because lunging is mindless activity in one direction for 15 minutes trying to burn calories and tire a horse out, and then mindless activity and 15 minutes in the other direction. And all they did was make their horse tired, but they didn't teach him anything. I'm letting her show me that she knows that means go left. When I look like this, it only means go left. And when I look like this, it only means go right. So I'm talking to her mind while she's moving her feet. But I'm not just chasing her around to make her tired. Because if your horse is only cooperating because they're tired, they're going to recover and get their second wind while you're on the ride. And then I'm going to shut everything down and see if she recognizes that. So when I'm chasing her, it's creating like adrenaline. She's getting a little overwhelmed. She's feeling a predator coming after her. Adrenaline starts to flow in her body. And if you've spent very much time around horses, you've ultimately ridden a horse that once they get prancy and jiggy, you can't bring them out of it. They just stay prancy and jiggy. And that's because they're overwhelmed with adrenaline and they're not reading the person. So I just showed you that I could push on her, bring her alive a little bit. And then I said, and she stopped and faced me. So that's telling me that she's seeing me. She's not overwhelmed with adrenaline to the point that she doesn't see me. She's not running wild and scared. She's actually watching me and saying, okay, what do you need? But I want to be able to just ask her to go calmly and see her to go calmly. So when I look like this, it means calmly walk to the left. If I was going with more pressure, then it would mean to go faster to the left. When I look like this, it only means calmly walk to the right. And when I do this, it means stop and look at me and take a break and wait for me to tell you what's next. So I'm not out here trying to fight with this horse or battle with her in any way that comes down to dealing with her power. Because if it comes down to who's stronger, it's her and I lose. If I ever get in a fight with this horse, even if I accomplish the task that I want to, I lose because she sees that I will fight with her. I never want her to see me fight with her. I want to be an asset to her. I want her to be like, oh, you will help me. You will explain things. You will show me what I need to know. It's never me against her. So I take it out of my mind that I can do anything with my muscle. So I say this all the time. They're bigger than you and stronger than you and faster than you. Get it out of your mind that you can compete with a horse on any one of those three levels. We are smarter than they are. You have the ability to learn how to speak to that horse in a way that makes sense to that horse, and it takes the fight out. Because this is a prey animal, we're a predator, our instincts could not be further apart. Well, and to kind of illustrate that, I just showed you. Like we, a lot of times as people think, we can brush them, we can pet them, we can feed them treats, we can tell them they're pretty, we can do all these things to baby our horse. And then maybe if we do that, our horse will choose to spend time with us and want to spend time with us through all these things that we think we would like, a manicure or a massage or a dessert or all these things. We would love it if somebody gave us all that. I just showed you if I chase her with a stick in both directions for about 3 minutes, look who all of a sudden wants to pay attention to me. No treat. No, oh, you're the best girl. None of that. None of the nonsense. That's us. We think that stuff's great. They're like, I don't know. Horses figure out, like I said right off the bat, a horse figures out who's in charge based on which one of us can move her feet. I have shown her I can move her feet. Now me allowing her to stand still is a reward, where everybody else is trying to make them stand still. Well, she's just standing still because I showed her I can move her. Super important. So the next thing I'm going to do after I get to here with a horse, intentionally soften my body, and I'm going to show her the stick, and then I'm going to take it away. And then I'm going to show her that stick, and then I'm going to take it away. And you can see that was a little abrupt on her part. Show her that stick. And what I'm doing is I'm putting pressure on her. And if she's good, I'm saying the pressure goes away if you handle it well, girl. And then pressure's on and pressure's off. And I let her see that this can come into your space and not bother you, but it's going to go away. Good girl. And then now that that's not really getting a reaction out of her anymore, I'm going to shorten my rope up a little bit. Calmly, like intentionally, breathing out and being soft. I'm going to go to her shoulder. And I don't mind that she looked at it, but I'm going to go to her shoulder. And I'm going to rub her just for a few seconds, as long as she sits still. Now, if she had started squirming, we'd be going around and around and around, and I'd still be rubbing her shoulder until she comes to a stop. And then now I'm going to go ahead, show it to her, take it away, and then go to her shoulder. Good girl. And I'm just going to rub it for a few seconds. And remember, you got 2 horses, so you're training them both as evenly as possible. That startled her a little bit, but she came back to a stop. If she really starts to squirm, I'll keep pressure on, but every time she shows me she's trying at all, I'm going to reward her. This is a super sensitive, jittery horse, so this is kind of why she's in here, is to really get her to where things don't bother her when it's touching her body or making commotion or anything like that. And I'm looking for areas that she's uncomfortable for me to touch. I'm hoping they're not there, but I'm looking, like I'm watching. How does her body handle being touched in sensitive areas? But if she doesn't act weird, that's awesome. But if she does have areas that like basically are no-go spots on her, I got to find it out so I can help her with it. Horses don't get to tell you where you can or can't touch them. So she's backing away. I'm going to stay on the same eye. She's feeling overwhelmed, and I'm not going to let her. I'm not mad at her. I'm not jerking on her. I'm not yelling at her. But the pressure is going to stay on until she stops. And look how weird she's standing right now. Totally uncomfortable. Oh, good girl. And as soon as she kind of gets calm again, I'm going to stop, take the pressure off. I'm a big fan of like coming back to where I started approximately. It doesn't have to be exact. But when a horse goes bouncing around, I'm going to come back to where I started fooling with them. Good girl. Good girl. There you go. But like if any of this, if your horse is too overwhelmed to have this done to them, then they should not have riders on them. And the weird thing about it is most people will be like, oh my gosh, that's a plastic bag. She's scared of that. You're a living, breathing predator on their back. This plastic bag cannot hurt them any way. You could legitimately kill her and eat her. So you are way more intense than this plastic bag. So stop making excuses for your horse not having the mental capacity to tolerate pressure. There's a big difference between a reason and an excuse. Yeah, she's afraid of the plastic bag. That doesn't excuse her poor behavior. It's just an opportunity for me to teach her that it's just a plastic bag. But people will say the most ridiculous things about like their horse's bad behavior. Like your horse can get bit by a fly and buck you off, and somehow you'll say, but it was a huge fly. That's absurd. Absolutely ridiculous. If we and I were having a conversation and something stung me and I slapped you, you'd think I was a lunatic. You wouldn't be like, but you should have seen the fly that bit him. No, I can't act violent because I'm uncomfortable for a minute. Neither can they. Suck it up, Buttercup. You got to be able to tolerate a little bit of discomfort. And people just don't have the understanding to teach their horses how to tolerate a little bit of discomfort, so they just make excuses for every little bit of nonsense that a horse wants to pull off. Yeah, the only excuse for your horse's bad behavior is poor horsemanship. Everything else is the reason for it. The only excuse for your horse's bad behavior is, I don't know what to do, so we're going to tolerate this. Otherwise, you can fix it. And then, yes, the neighbor's dog is what made my horse uncomfortable. That was the reason, but we solved the problem, so it wasn't an excuse. The garbage truck was the reason your horse got uncomfortable, but you helped them through it, so it didn't become an excuse. Or the fly, or it's people. if you start making excuses for your horse, you're going to continue making excuses for your horse, or you just learn how to help them, and they will overcome things in a fairly short amount of time if you explain it to them in a way that makes sense to them. So now I'm changing what I'm doing. I'm going to walk away from her. I have a long lead rope, so if she needs more space, I can just give it to her. And then you see my hand is open. I'm not dragging her with me. And what I'm doing is I am intentionally making this airspace kind of uncomfortable. And I want to see that this horse is willing to follow me into an uncomfortable situation. I'm not dragging her along. She's walking with me. As long as she shows me she'll do that, I'm going to take the flag and show it to her. And then I'm going to take it away. And then I'm going to show it to her, just like I did the stick and bag. So it's pressure on, pressure's off. And the pressure's on, and the pressure's off. Now she's not seeming like she's struggling with that in any way, so now I'm going to go to her shoulder. Focusing on being soft with my breathing. Oh, good girl. Rub her for a minute. As long as she sits still, you don't delay there too long. Good girl. A few seconds if their behavior is right. Now you saw when she got weird and took off over to that corner a little bit ago, then the pressure stays on when she's being weird. But if she's tolerating it with good calm feet, I just keep moving slow. Well, not even slow. I'm progressively moving forward. But I'm always focusing on being soft in my breathing. This horse is paying attention to my body language, my breathing, my eye contact. She knows that if I am kind of soft in my breathing and sort of relaxed in my posture, I can't pounce. If I'm tense and nervous and holding my breath, I'm in a position to pounce. And if I'm in a position to pounce, she can't trust me. Good girl. And now we're going to start working on her airspace a little bit. So people think that we do this because it's like maybe like more of like a trick or whatever, or to be able to carry a flag on the horse. But the reason I do this is because if your horse freaks out when you do this, again, this is a rag. This flag could not possibly hurt this horse in any way, but you are a living, breathing predator on her back. And if you do that and your horse freaks, what's going to happen when it's something way more intense than this? But for some reason, as people, we think it's no big deal that we're up there. But, oh my gosh, you can put a flag up above your horse and it doesn't scare them. This is a rag. This means nothing. You have a living, breathing, like heartbeat, pulse, and you could eat them. So I'm finding out, is she weirded out by this? And if she is, you better not get up there. To me, any horse that you cannot do this around is unstable to be ridden. So we're just not going to ride one. We teach them this stuff right off the bat. But we don't break horses here. We develop their minds. Like I said, if it gets into who's tougher and stronger, it's her. If it gets into who's smarter, it's me. I can help this horse to learn all kinds of cool stuff. So now we're going to switch gears. I'm going to start by walking away from her again, and I'm going to make it uncomfortable. And if she needs to take more slack of my rope, I'll just give it to her. That's why as a training rope, you always got 12 to 15 feet of rope. Don't set yourself up for failure with a little short lead rope. I've also got a good quality rope halter, and I've always got my gloves on. I'm not ever going to have a horse in training with my hands on a lead rope that I don't have a glove on. Because if something goes wrong and you get burnt, then you stop because you're hurt and the horse just gets rewarded for burning you. We're not going to let ourselves be unprepared and let the horse have the upper hand because we were not smart enough to get our tools and put them on and actually use them. Super important that you know what you're doing and why. Good girl. Now I'm going to sit here and throw this whip at her a little bit. And I'm going to see, does she feel the need to run away from me during any of this? Or is my calmness and my body language, and again, when I'm saying calm or quiet, I'm not shutting up at all. I'm telling you guys what I'm doing. My body language is what she's focused on. She don't care about my words. Good girl. And when I do talk to her, I talk to her like she understands everything I say, but she's paying attention to my body language. That is what is so important, that this I can't be tense. I can't be holding my breath, because a predator that's tense and holding their breath is preparing to pounce. Good girl. And I want to see that she trusts me to let me just toss this all around her. And I want to, get it around her belly and around her flanks and around her back legs. I'm finding out, is she going to squirm and act weird when I do something? And the other thing about this is like the beginning of her learning to deal with, like, when you're out on the trail, sometimes you'll wrap a vine around their hind leg. So, like, if you can't do something like this and your horse tolerate it, then when a vine grabs them out in the woods, now they're going to freak out there. So we're preparing her to be able to handle pressure. And that's exactly what this whole thing is. This whole thing is preparing your horse to handle pressure. Because as soon as you leave the round pen, pressure's coming. There, she just took a big deep breath, so I'll back off a little bit for that. Now she's lowering her head, which is a sign of submission. So what you got to understand is, like, your horse's withers are right here. Anytime the top of her head is even with this or lower, she's at a calm, relaxed state. And the lower her head gets below this point, the more calm, the more relaxed she is. When her head comes above this, now she's alert, she's aware, she's alert, and then she's alarmed. The higher her head goes, the more stressed out and overwhelmed your horse is getting. The lower their head goes, the more calm and relaxed they're getting. And we're going to try to focus on keeping her calm and relaxed. Good girl. I say that while we're intentionally making her uncomfortable by making noise or waving flags or whatever. We're showing her how to handle pressure. Because if you deal with a horse, pressure's coming. People like to throw around the term bomb-proof, like they want a horse that's never going to make a mistake. They don't make one. I tell people all the time, if you buy a horse from me or from anybody else, I'm guaranteeing you they're going to be trouble. Guaranteed. The difference is, if you buy one from me, I'm going to teach you what to do when trouble happens. Because trouble's coming. If you have a horse, trouble's everywhere. I don't know if it's the garbage truck or the deer that jumped up in the bushes or a flock of turkeys or the kid on a dirt bike. I mean, trouble's coming. But if you know what to do when trouble happens, well, then trouble's not a big deal. Good girl. And I'm just making a little bit of noise, having a calm body language while I'm making the noise and finding out, can she just sit still and tolerate pressure? Good girl. My body language is telling her that we don't need to worry about this at all. Good girl. But yeah, the sound and the commotion of the whip should be, potentially making her very uncomfortable. What this is showing me is that she's paying more attention to me than she is this. Everybody else wants to let them pay way more attention to this. Oh my gosh, it's the whip. And then you're nervous that she's going to be afraid of the whip or the flag. And then you're trying to present it, but you're afraid she's going to be afraid of the flag. If you're afraid of the flag, she's definitely going to be afraid of the flag because she can be eaten by you. And if you're scared, how bad could this flag be? So you got to be like, okay, girl, we're just going to do the whip again. The whip is no big deal. I expect you to be able to tolerate it, and I'll help you with it. Good girl. But yeah, if you have any tension or nerves about it, your horse is going to have a lot more tension and nerves about it. But our desensitizing is super important as far as I'm concerned. I will not ride a horse that doesn't know these simple things. Well, I say they're simple things. Other people act like they're not simple things, but they can be taught to a horse in about 3 to 5 minutes each individual stimulation, 3 to 5 minutes. So to me, it is very simple to teach a horse how to handle pressure. And then when pressure comes, your horse is prepared for it. A lot of folks try to shelter their horses from anything that'll make them uncomfortable and just hope that they're not going to run into trouble, which is an absolutely ridiculous thing to think. As soon as you leave the barn on a horse, trouble's coming. So again, I'm going to walk away from this horse. Let her follow me. And I want to see that her feet can come forward with me. And now I'm gonna show it to her and back up. And intentionally, soft with my breathing, not tense or nervous. Like I said, if I'm acting like this is a big deal, she's gonna act like it's a big deal. And then this is the same thing we did with the stick and bag and the flag. Pressure on, pressure off. So you show her that, okay, yeah, you got to deal with it for a second, then it goes away. And then you got to deal with it for a second, and then it goes away. And then maybe you got to deal with it a little louder for a second, and then it goes away. And then you deal with it a little louder again, and then it goes away. And then it goes away. Now I'm going to go to the shoulder, just like we did with the flag and the stick and bag. And if she feels the need to squirm, we're going to squirm with her. She doesn't get to run away from this. When she can stop, we'll take it away. Everybody else would have stopped while she was being afraid, thinking, oh, I don't want to scare her. And she just said, oh, every time you get uncomfortable, act a little weird and you get your way. Which is how horses learn. Whatever they do right before you take the pressure off is what they think solves the problem. So now we're going to switch sides. And go to this shoulder. Now she leaned away from it, but she didn't really move her feet, so I got out of there. The tie goes to the runner. She definitely didn't like that and was uncomfortable with it, but she chose to keep her feet still. If the horse's feet are still, I'm not nitpicking. It ain't got to look perfect. Now there, I like that she walked forward into the pressure. See how she's wanting to follow me now? I like that. So what that's telling me is she's not viewing me as like the problem here, even though I'm the one with the leaf blower making it intense. And I don't know why that is, that they never ever hold it against me for being the one that is bringing the heat, but they all know I make it stop. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the stick and bag. I'm going to do her shoulders. And then I'm going to do her top line. And I'm going to switch sides. And then right down her hind leg. Now she's not in trouble because she's squirming. I'm not jerking on her. I'm not yelling at her. I'm not upset in any way. Because I am smarter than her. This is not a challenge for me. I know how to help her. If you don't have the information on how to help them, then you get frustrated. I am going to be the calm voice of reason out here for this horse. She didn't like that, but she basically kept her feet still. And what I'm looking for is that she doesn't cringe so hard. I want to get to where I can run this over her and she doesn't pucker up her butt so much. There, that looked really nice. Not perfect, but way better. So I'm going to give her a little break. Maybe come out in front of her. Work out here a little bit. Maybe just see if I can just get her to follow me into it. See, my hand is open. I'm not pulling her forward. She's following me right into that pressure on an invitation. No pressure. Whoop. And now I want to be able to get it over top of her. Again, the airspace around your horse is so critical that you desensitize it. And the reason it's so important is because in a horse's world, anything that comes from above is dangerous. Good girl. Now, like the fact that she looked at me right there, that was perfect. I want to see that she's interested, so I shut the thing off. But when she showed me she was actually curious about the leaf blower, we'll get rid of it for a little. Well, we'll get rid of it for the day now, but you could come back to it in 10 minutes. But yeah, anything that comes from above your horse in their mind is like a mountain lion jumping off a tree branch. Nothing safe comes from above in a horse's mind. What do you think, girl? And then we're going to ask her to just some basic sending again, find out if she's still on track with this, comfortable and relaxed. And she is, because she's walking. Going to switch her directions. She's telling me she's mentally sharp. She understands that this means I need her to go to the right. She's going calmly. Switch her directions. And then we'll go ahead and put this box in front of her. And I want to see that she can walk straight up and over that box, touch it with all 4 feet, and it's not anything weird for her on both sides. And I don't want her to stop yet. I want her to go right up and over. Not perfect, but not too bad. So I'll drop my energy, and she's supposed to stop and look at me. Sure. They don't bother me. So this time, I'm going to bring her up and stop her there. And I let my energy down. That means she's supposed to stop. And the little break is her reward right now. Her just getting to chill out. And then now I'm just going to hold up my hand and ask her to take another step. She's not seeing it, so I'm going to bring in my stick, ask her for a step, and I'm going to reward that. And then I'm going to hold up my hand and my stick, and I'm going to reward that. And now when I go back to here, she gets to just chill out there. So your horses will learn that every time, because I can maneuver her feet where I want, I'm in charge enough that I can make her move her feet, then anytime I stop making her move her feet, she takes that as a privilege that she gets to stop and rest. Where everybody, or I shouldn't say everybody, most other people are always trying to make their horse stand still. I'm allowing her to stand still because I've shown her I can make her move. So it's just a different mindset. Like I say, if I got a horse that's acting weird at all, I'm going to redirect their nervous energy, which is what I did in the beginning by chasing her until her feet looked right, then doing some sending until her, she could walk and follow directions and all that. Now there, she's getting a little confused, so I'm going to press her just a little bit back away from me. There you go. But yeah, I'm not fighting with this horse to try to get her to stand still. Because I've shown her that I can make her move, then standing still becomes a reward for her. So I'm just allowing her to be good. And the other thing is, get it out of your mind that you can make a horse do anything. You can only make them do what they want to do, or what they're willing to do. As soon as they take a stance that they're not going to do it, good girl. I like to tell people that you never, ever have control over a horse. You have influence over them, but you never, ever have control over them. I'm going to disengage her hip a little bit here. But yeah, I'm not doing any of this with muscle. This is just me being smart enough to prepare her for what I need her to do and reward her when she gives me the slightest try in the right direction. Come on, step up, step up, step up. Come on, right there. And like I let my arms down, my energy down, and she gets to stand still. What do you think, girl? You doing okay? And again, like notice that her head is not really high above her withers. She's not overwhelmed by this. She's not, she's getting a little higher there, but for the most part, she's staying in a more calm and more relaxed deal. So we're just helping her to learn how to handle pressure because pressure is coming. If you're riding a horse, pressure is coming. So I don't know if she's ever seen this soccer ball thing or beach ball, whatever you want to call it, but we're gonna show it to her. Now, if she comes inside and wants to crowd me, I'm gonna poke her with my stick. She can't show that ball more respect than she does me. She touched it a little, so I'm not gonna nitpick that. As long as she'll touch it with her body, that's all I need her to do. But I'm going to keep putting that ball in front of her. And if she crowds me, I'm going to poke her in the ribs. And she's going to realize that I bite a little, that ball doesn't bite. I don't mind that she touched it there a little bit. It doesn't matter to me if it was the barrels or anything else. This horse is not going to respect any piece of stuff. Any piece of plastic, any piece of wood, like a ball. I'm not going to allow her to respect this more than she does me. You say she wants to get out of the way of that ball, I'm going to bite her. But not out of anger and not harshly, just poking her in the ribs a little bit. It's up to her to ask herself why she's getting out of the way of something that can't touch her and going to crowd me. Now, if she wants to stand there and look at it, I'll allow that too. Good girl. Let's go that way. There. Even just getting her nose, like her sniffing it right there, that's very positive. Come on, there. She touched it with one of her legs. But see, this time she's not really trying to get away from it as hard. But now, also, this is the other side. The first time we were going to the left, now we're going back to the right. 2 horses in every one, and they can act totally different from one side to the other. Sometimes it's not that different. Sometimes it's incredibly different. Good girl. Come on. Good girl. But this sending exercise, we use it for all kinds of stuff. You're so much better off to try to teach a horse whatever you want to teach them on the ground. And see how I'm already getting her to move that ball. And I'm doing it without it becoming a big stressful deal. Good girl. Come on. And there again, she thought about respecting that ball a little more than me. And the beauty of what we do is they're never in trouble when they get the wrong answer. They just get another. I'm not mad at her because she's struggling a little bit. She just gets to do it again and again. All I'm going to do is be the calm voice of reason out here. I'm out here to teach her. But see, that's not how most people train a horse. Like most people, just repetition, the same thing over and over and over. Doing something reasonable and you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. If you notice what I'm doing, when she makes a little bit of progress in an area, we might work with it for 3 to 5 minutes and then we go to something else. You're all right, girl. And we may work on that ball a little bit more, and we may not. It just depends on how it works out. But I'm going to give my horse a break after a few minutes of any type of pressure, as long as she's giving me something back. If she was rebelling to deal with that thing and she was running away from it and acting absurd, we'd still be working on it. But she started to move it around, and so I don't got to work on that very long. I just got to show her, if you touch it a little, it'll go away. So now we got this cowboy curtain thing set up. I'm going to send her back and forth between me and that, and see, can she just walk and follow directions? If that curtain was making her uncomfortable, she would be picking up speed when she got over there. So now I'm going to kind of crowd in here, let her look at it. There we go. And now you see how she kind of squirmed or tucked her butt a little bit and squirted through there? That's her way of saying she's mildly uncomfortable. But see the butt crouching down? She's afraid it's going to get her. And I'm just going to go back and forth until she doesn't tuck her butt under. But them little weird steps on her hind end are letting me know that she's overwhelmed mentally. Now that looked pretty good on that side. If she'll give me one that's that good on this side, we'll stop doing this for a minute. Yeah, it was not perfect, but improvement. We're going to go over here, and we're going to shut down and let her take a breath and relax over there. What do you think, girl? But I want my horse to know that you pay attention to me the entire time I'm with you, and I'll tell you everything you need to know, and I'll keep you safe. But I'm intentionally pushing her out of her comfort zone so that I can show her it's okay to be out there. So I gave her, I don't know, a minute or two over there to just chill out. And then here I'm going to back her off the box. I like to switch it up so my horse doesn't think they always know that we're going to go forward. She took a step, so I stopped asking. I'll start wiggling the rope. That's pressure on. As soon as she moves a foot, I'll stop asking. Wiggle the rope. Pressure's on. When she moves a foot, I'll stop asking. But I want her to learn that every time I ask her to move her feet, it's one step at a time. So I'm going to wiggle my rope. When she moves a foot, I'll stop asking. And I'll get more and more intense until she moves a foot. It's okay. And then we're going to go over here and see if we can walk through it without a little opening now. Good girl. And I don't mind that she dropped her head to find her way through there. And if she'll walk through it fairly calmly on this side, then we'll be done with this today. Good girl. Little bit of a pucker there, so I'm going to go ahead and do that another time or two till she doesn't have that little weird deal at the end. Good girl. That looks nice. Good girl. But to me, if you can't effectively send your horse, good girl, through an obstacle. Now here she's not seeing me that I quit. So I'm going to shake that stick and say, hey, I'm over here, girl. But yeah, she got like so focused on that when I stopped, she didn't recognize it. She has to learn that I am so much more important than that. And I am more important than that. And I am more important than that. And I am more important than that. And the flag and the whip and the leaf blower. Like everybody lets their horse get overwhelmed by the thing. Nothing can be more important than you. If anything can be more important than you to your horse, then everything will be more important than you to your horse. It's not like you get in there and there's only three things that are, if things can be more important than you, everything can be more important than you. That ball sure can't be, that box can't be, that can't be. I mean, like these are things, and the thing is, these are things that people will act like, but that's so scary for a horse. But you just watch me solve each one of them in like 3 to 5 minutes of education and speaking to a horse in a way that the horse understands. The reason people don't educate their horses is because they're trying to fight with them and they're outmatched. That's it. If it comes down to who's stronger, it's her. So get it out of your mind that you can do anything with your power. It all comes down to what can I do with my body language, my eye contact, and my energy. If I can't shut her down by doing this, then I really can't shut her down with anything because she's stronger than me. We all know that. If this horse is not even very big, but if this horse wants to run away with me, she can drag me all over the place. And if she wants to decide that she is not going to take another single step, I can't make her. But I can get her to want to do what I need her to do. And that's this whole thing. Like, I grew up with horses. We were real rough on them, heavy-handed. I mean, whip them, beat them, spur them. I mean, we'd lasso them and drag them up to a snubbing post and strap a saddle on and climb on them and just... Horses were terrified. We weren't having all that much fun. It was just a very stressful thing for everybody involved. And then somebody showed me what I'm showing you now, and I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. You can just go in here and effectively communicate with a horse. And people will call you a horse whisperer if you can do this, which I hate the term, because there's nothing mystical or magical about what I'm doing out here. I'm explaining it in very simple terms to everybody. It's a step-by-step process of you not thinking about what makes sense to you, but you get out of your own personal viewpoint and you go, how does that horse see things and how do they feel and how do they think? Like I just said earlier, we would think maybe a massage and a dessert would get you to be your buddy, but no, chase her with a stick. And then and the other thing is, a lot of people have never seen a horse do these things. You just saw a young horse do all of them. But I chased her with a stick for 10 minutes first. And I got her mind right. I got her willingness there. And then I could say, okay, let me go ahead and teach you some things. But yeah, if it comes down to who's stronger, it's her. So here, for whatever the reason, she's not liking that flat or that stick in that space. So I'm just going to let her do her thing. I'm not mad at her. But I'm not taking the stick away because she's squirming. When she stops, I'll take the stick away, but not until she stops. There you go. But she doesn't get to get nervous and run away from things. That's what they do. They're a flight animal. A horse doesn't want to fight with anything. They want to get away from things that make them uncomfortable. Good girl. But it's our job to show them that as long as you stick with me, I will keep you safe and you can handle these different types of pressure. It's horse training, if you're doing it effectively, is mental. Like I said, I never dreamed. And when I was a kid, the way we were taught to do stuff, to be able to come in here and take a horse that doesn't know anything and in a short amount of time be able to just do all kinds of cool stuff. And it's never a fight. Like, I'm not mad at this horse. And to be fair, she didn't really do anything. But I'm saying, you could bring one in here that's really confused and really overwhelmed, and they need more time. That's fine, whatever they need. But if you have the ability to help them, then you're never upset when a horse makes you do your job. That's one thing that I've always tried to have the mindset of, is I can't be mad when a horse is making me do the job. It doesn't mean that I'm not bringing intense pressure to that horse for a moment, but I'm not angry that they're making me bring pressure. See, that's the problem, is most people won't get firm with a horse unless they're upset. And then once you're upset and you're getting firm, then you don't recognize when the horse tries, and then you don't reward when they give something to you. It was just like a few minutes ago when I had the horse on the box, and I'll do it right here. So because I'm calm and relaxed, I'm going to wiggle this rope, and I'll get harder and harder. As soon as one foot moves, I'm going to back off because I'm calm and I'm waiting for it. I'm not trying to make this horse move by being upset. And then when that happens, the foot moves, but you're enraged. So just pressure on. Well, that time she didn't take much at all. A little bit of pressure, a A little more pressure and a little more pressure, and bam, right there's a reward for her. Good girl. But and the other thing is, when I start asking a horse to do something, I already know what I'm looking for. So I'm waiting for her to do the right thing so I can say thank you. And that's what it is. When you stop, you're saying thank you. Good girl. And that's probably a pretty good place to quit with her for the day. But yeah, we are all about intentionally kind of putting your horse in uncomfortable situations and then teaching them how to have the coping mechanisms to deal with them. Because as soon as you ride out there, things can get intense. And here, at least I can kind of say, okay, well, I'm going to pull the curtain out now, and now we're going to play with the ball, and then we'll get the flag. But it's all like my idea. Out there, a four-wheeler could come racing down the road at any minute. The deer can jump up in the bushes. The dogs could get overwhelmed. I mean, like, it's like out there, there's real pressure that you don't know when it's coming or where it's going to happen. But by doing this kind of stuff and teaching your horse that when I act like this, you get to just chill out. Then when the garbage truck's coming down the road and you're like, okay, I better act like this, because you act like this, and now all of a sudden your horse is tense and you're nervous, and now you're ready to pounce. So whenever you think things are about to go completely haywire, you need to go. Even if it's totally fake, you could be like, oh dear God, I'm so scared. You better let it out, because if you tense up, so if your horse gets alarmed by, I don't care what it is, it's alarmed by the neighbor's dog comes racing out. You do this, you just took, so the neighbor's dog created a little tiny spark in your horse. By you doing this, tightening up, holding your breath, you just dumped a little bit of gas or lighter fluid on that spark, and now you've got yourself a fire. Same neighbor's dog comes running out, and you're like, I don't know about that. Now you just threw a little cup of water on that spark, and it probably went out. But you can, but there again, when you think you need to go, oh, this is going to be bad, you need to go, oh, okay, we got this, girl. And if you do that, it'll probably have a 90+% effect. Like, that horse is going to go, man, I'm glad you said to be chill, because I was freaking out inside. But if they're freaking and you do what you naturally do, like I mentioned earlier, maybe I didn't, but anything that's frustrating, frightening, or confusing to that horse is going to turn into happy feet. Anything that's frustrating, frightening, or confusing to you is going to tighten you up, and you're going to hold your breath. It's just the way it goes. So by learning how, there again, you can't help her getting nervous, but you can get smart enough to go, I can't tighten up. This is a bad situation. I better relax, because it could get really bad. I was on her. Yeah. Yeah, we were heading up a mountainside, or a mountain that really got narrow at the top, so it was like one little trail. Yeah. Yeah, the dogs got above us and pushed this deer back down wide open. Horses never even batted an eye. Like, they were like, huh, that was weird. But it was like top 3 most puckered up I've ever been in my life on a horse's back. I'm like, oh, there's just deer racing at us on like a 10-foot wide mountainside little ledge. Like, it was like, there's nowhere to go. Oh, girl. And the deer ran by, and the horses were like, huh. And I was like, and I was on her, and there was a moment where I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. But you can't act like it is. You just got again, no control, influence. That breath, if you teach them that when you breathe out and get soft, that they get to relax, that breath will have an unbelievably powerful effect on your horse. But yeah, every time you think it's about to get bad, you need to intentionally soften your body up while being ready to ride. But that's what the mechanical bull teaches, is that looseness, and like Like I used to get on that bull when I first started. I'd get on there and it had a handle instead of the strips, and I'd hold on so tight and just be like so rigid and like not prepared to move at all, knowing that's about to move, but I've made myself not be able to move. It's so stupid, but it's what we do. It's our instinct. It took me several weeks, and finally I got on that bull, and I'm like, all right. And I got on it, and I held on with this hand, and I'm like, where is this thing going to go? And I'm ready to jump there and there. And but it had to shift in my mind that I can't hold on tight enough in a rigid position, but I can get ready to go somewhere. When that thing starts jumping, you better be ready to go somewhere. When that horse starts jumping, you better be ready to go somewhere. But as people, we lock up as soon as we get nervous. And she's going to run away as soon as she gets nervous. And you put those two things together, you have a spiral of badness. Come on, girl. But yeah, it's all mental. Like what we do with a horse, very, very little. Not that we don't physically train them, but it's all about what they're going on inside their head. All right, cool, guys. Hopefully